Ankit, Shubhamangalam Technical Scholar, myself Sukdeep. I'll be taking up class 9 physics for today. We will continue with the chapter that we were discussing, and it is chapter 2, motion. Okay, we have discussed about certain terminologies like motion, rest, and relative. So here we are going to discuss further about the scalar quantities that we stopped where we stopped in the previous video. So in the previous video at the end I was telling you about two physical quantities that we need to discuss further. It is distance and displacement. So what do you mean by distance? Distance is the length traveled by a certain object or a certain person from point A to point B, for example, by taking irrespective of any direction. Definitely in distance you know the magnitude but not the direction. What do you mean by magnitude? How much you have traveled. So now also, what do you mean by displacement? It is the shortest distance traveled. So what we were discussing, if these are 2 points A and B and I throw a ball and the ball takes a path and reaches somewhat like this. Okay, so this is going to be called as distance because I could not predict which kind of path is the ball going to take. Of course, if I'm just going to roll the ball from A to B, it is going to be like a definite, it is going to be in a definite direction. I know what is the length between A to B, as well as I am just rolling the ball so that the ball goes only in that straight line path over there. So here, when you don't know what is the direction and you know that the ball is going to travel a certain amount of length to reach the destination, then that quantity is called as distance. Okay, now when you know how much is it going to travel and you also know that in which direction it is going to travel, then that quantity is called as displacement. Okay, now distance is a scalar quantity and displacement is a vector quantity. Scalars only have magnitude. What do you mean by magnitude? How much is it done? How much has been traveled? So that particular value here signifies magnitude. What is a vector? Vectors are physical quantities which have both magnitude and direction, and they are represented with an arrow mark. For example, AB is a vector over here because it is nothing but showing me displacement. So I'm going to write AB and overhead I'm going to put an arrow mark. So this end of the arrow mark is called as the tail and this end of the arrow mark is called as the head. Okay, so to represent any of the vectors, you're going to use an arrow mark. You're going to write the name from the starting point to the end point, and overhead you're going to put an arrow mark, thus signifying the line here signifies the magnitude and the arrow signifies that it is going in a certain direction. Okay, so now for example, in a normal case, if you consider if a car is moving with a speed of around 50 km per hour. Okay, this means it is going to travel a certain amount of distance. Yes or no? Within 2 hours or 3 hours. Now, if I say if the car is traveling 50 km per hour due east, this means that the car is traveling with a speed of around 50 km per hour, but in a certain direction. Speed in a certain direction is called as velocity. Do you understand? From distance and displacement, which are scalars and vectors respectively, we will learn about few more physical quantities over here, which are nothing but speed and velocity. What did I say you? If it is written somewhere, the car is traveling with 50 kilometers per hour. What do you understand with this? That the car is traveling with a certain speed of 50 kilometers per hour. So now if I say if the car is traveling 50 kilometers per hour due east, what am I doing? Something new over here. I'm specifying the direction also. This means the car is going to undergo a certain distance, or is it going to undergo a certain displacement? It is definitely going to undergo a certain displacement from a certain point to another point with a certain velocity of 50 km per hour, because I'm specifying the direction in the question over here. What is the direction? East. Okay, we will learn about further these things with such simple problems or simple examples. Before that, they have asked us to draw the displacement vectors. Displacement vectors. How do you draw displacement vectors? Just trace or just draw the shortest path possible. Okay, now this is a certain path. Imagine this is your house and this is your friend's house, and there is a way to reach your house. There is one other way to reach your house. Which is the shortest distance? It is like this. Yes or no? Did you understand? Did I draw the displacement vector now? What do you mean by displacement vector? What do you mean by drawing displacement vectors? This means drawing the shortest path possible. Remember, we were talking about Google Maps showing us the shortest route possible without any traffic, something like that, class. So here also we have a curvy path over here, something irregular in shape, and this is basically covering a certain amount of distance, but we need to draw displacement. What will be displacement from A to B directly over here? Yes or no? Do you understand? Of course, there shouldn't be any houses in between, only then you can take the path, but it is just a diagram, and they have asked us to draw displacement vectors over here. So what did we drew? We drew the shortest path possible over here. Okay with everyone? So here. So now, to know at what angle the distance or displacement is happening, you can extend a ray over here, and this will be called as theta. So this means at an angle theta, the ball was thrown upwards and it reached a particular destination over there. Something not so important to consider, but only thing that you need to consider over here is about scalars and vectors. Also, distance is a scalar, displacement is a vector. How to represent vectors, how to draw displacement vectors. And displacement, I repeat again, is the shortest distance from one end to the other end. Fine now, so let's move on to the further example over here. Okay, so we have an example. Okay, before that we have think and discuss. Page number 15, class. I want you to open page number 15 and let's discuss the think and discuss portion over here. What is the displacement of the body if it returns to the same point from where it started? Okay, it is starting at point A. For example, it is starting at point A and it is moving and reaching the same point again. So what kind of displacement did it happen? No displacement. The displacement of the object is zero over here. Okay, because it has not changed its position. It is not enough to travel. You also need to change your position, yes or no? And after changing the position, you need to reach a new destination. Did the object or did the person reach a new destination over there? No, it reached the starting point itself. So displacement of the object over here is how much? Zero, class. Please write it over there. Give an example from daily life. If you're going to your school and then coming back to your house again without attending school, then definitely there is no displacement happening. You came back to your original position. If you were in a running race, you went to a certain point and then came back again to the starting point without undergoing any kind of determination that you have to reach the end point or something, then definitely you are at the starting point again. And what is your displacement then? It is zero. Okay, so when do the distance and magnitude of displacement become equal? When do the distance and the magnitude of distance? Okay, what is distance? A certain length traveled by a body. Fine, can I consider this to be distance? Yes or no? I threw up a ball and the ball covered a certain distance. Can I consider this to also be a distance? Yes, it is also distance, but in a certain direction. Do you understand? Now here, the distance and the displacement of the body are the same. Do you understand? What is the definition of distance? When the body is covering a certain path, okay, to reach the destination. So if in this particular diagram I can consider this particular path to be distance, as well as I can consider A to B. Can you see the straight line path over here to also be a distance? Yes or no? Of course, it was going in a certain direction, I understand, but that is the secondary statement. Primarily, it undergone a certain amount of distance, a certain amount of path to reach the destination. So AB here can also be considered as distance in the first case. Also, if I take the second case or the secondary case over here, I also notice that the distance is happening in a certain direction. Distance happening in a certain direction is nothing but displacement. So do you understand over here? Both distance and displacement are the same over here. Now look at the question and try to understand what am I actually speaking. When do the distance and the magnitude of displacement become equal? Now how much was the distance traveled from A to B over here? Let's say 5 meters. And the magnitude of displacement. What was the shortest path possible in the entire diagram over here? It was also 5 meters. Yes or no? What was the magnitude of displacement in this diagram? 5 meters. What is the distance traveled by the body? 5 meters. So in this case, if the body undergoes the straight line path, then both the distance and displacement are going to be equal. Do you understand now? If the body is undergoing in this particular diagram a straight line path, then both the distance and displacement are going to be equal. It is not only this diagram, in any situations, if the body is going to undergo a straight line path, the distance and the value of displacement are always going to be equal. Okay, so now average speed and average velocity, that is one big problem that we need to do. So now we need to understand what is average speed and average velocity class. So, for example, if there is a train traveling from Sirpur Kagas Nagar, from this particular point, and the train is named as Telangana Express, and it is traveling from Sirpur Kagas Nagar to Hyderabad, and it is covering a journey time of about 2 to 6 p.m. or 2 to 8 p.m. So how many hours it is? If it is from 2 p.m., the train started and it reached at 8 p.m. at Hyderabad. So how many hours did it travel for? What is the journey time? It is 6 hours. So time is taken as 6 hours. Okay. So for instance, just consider that the distance traveled by the train is about 300 kilometers. So the distance traveled is about 300 kilometers. What is the formula? Distance is equal to speed into time. We want to find out what is the average speed of the train when it traveled from Sirpur Kagasnagar to Hyderabad. What are the only two quantities we have over here? We have 6 hours as the time and we have 300 kilometers as the distance over here. Okay, so what do I do? Speed is equal to distance by time. That is nothing but 300 kilometers by 6 hours. So 6 ones are 6 fives are 0. So this becomes nothing but 50 kilometer per hour. 6 5 is 30, the 0 over there. You get that, right? 6 into 50 is equal to 300 basically. So what answer do I get over here? 50 kilometers per hour. So what does this mean? That the train is traveling at a speed of about 50 kilometers per hour from Sirpur Kagas Nagar to Hyderabad. Okay, do you really think the train is going to travel at this constant speed always? Do you really think that? It is actually stopping at Kazipet. Okay, so this means there is going to be a dip in its speed, and when it starts from Kazipet, there is going to be an increase in its speed, and not only that, there is going to be a possibility that it is going to change its speeds at anywhere all along the route. Do you understand? So you cannot consider this to be average speed. This is just the speed, a rough patch, a rough idea of at how much speed the train might be traveling from Sirpur Kagas Nagar to Kazipet. Okay, do you understand this part now? Now turn the page to page number 16. There is a very vivid explanation. Page number 16 over here. Can you say that the train has covered exactly 50 kilometers in each hour? So I'll repeat the question for you. Can you say that the train has covered exactly 50 kilometers in each hour? We got the answer as 50 kilometers per hour. But logically thinking, do you really think that the train is going to cover only 50 kilometers in every hour, in every of those 6 hours over here that it took to travel from Kagasnagar to Hyderabad? Definitely no, class. It is going to increase or decrease its speed while it is traveling. So how do you find out the average speed over here? For example, for the first hour, the train was at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour. For the second, it was at 40. For the third, it was at 30. For the fourth, it was at 50. For the fifth, it was at 10 again. So you need to sum up all the speeds and divide them by the number of hours, and only then you are going to get average of speed. Just like how you do it in mathematics and find out the average. The sum of all the numbers by the number of numbers, like that. The sum of all the distances, the sum of all the distances covered in that particular 1 hour by the number of hours. Do you understand? So it is going to be 20 plus 40 plus 30 plus 50 plus 10 divided by 6, because that is the number of hours over here. This was just an example how to find out the average speed actually. Okay, now in the think and discuss portion, they have asked you on page number 16, what is the average speed of the car if it covers 200 kilometers in 5 hours? They have not specified in every hour how much the car must have traveled. So we just simply put in the speed formula over here, which is distance by time, and it is 200 by 5 in this case, which is around 40 kilometers per hour for think and discuss one. But basically, whenever you get an example or whenever you get a problem in the exam and they give you different distances, this is how you need to find out the average speed. You need to sum up all the distances that the train or that the vehicle covered in one particular hour and divide by the number of hours over there. Do you understand? Yes, there we go. And now, so we need to understand, we have understood what is average speed. Okay, now we need to understand average velocity. Okay, what was the only difference between distance and displacement? The direction. Yes or no? Distance in a certain direction is called as displacement. Similarly, speed in a certain direction is called as velocity. Okay, so for average speed, the formula is going to be distance by time. For average velocity, the formula is going to be displacement by time. Do you understand? The formula is going to be displacement by time. Now look at this problem over here. On page number 16, the left hand side, the third para. Let the displacement of the trip in the above example be 120 kilometers due southwest. What does southwest signify over here? It signifies that the train is moving that the train is covering 120 kilometers in the direction. Which direction? In southwest direction. So is it undergoing a certain amount of speed or velocity? Definitely velocity, because covering a certain distance with a direction. So this means it's undergoing a certain displacement. So what is the displacement in each hour? The displacement per hour is going to be what? 120 divided by 6 hours. Yes or no? So now it is going to, so average velocity is going to be displacement by time. How much displacement happened? 120 kilometers. How many hours did it travel? 6 hours. So 120 by 6 is going to give you with how much velocity the train was going to travel in one particular hour. So 120 by 6 is going to be 20 kilometers per hour. This means at an average, okay, at a rough idea, the train was traveling with 20 kilometers per hour velocity in the southwest direction. Okay, remember we are specifying the direction over here. So what is the formula for average speed? Distance by time. What is the formula for average velocity? Displacement by time. What is the difference over here? Speed is happening in any random direction. Okay, you don't know in which direction the average speed is taking place, but we know in which direction the average velocity is taking place, because the formula of average velocity says that it is displacement by time. What is displacement? Distance occurring in a certain direction. Which direction are we talking about in our case over here? It is southwest. How many kilometers did it travel in southwest? It traveled 120 kilometers in southwest in 6 hours. If I want to find out in 1 hour how much was it, then I would divide 120 by 6 and I would get the answer as 20 kilometers per hour. So at what velocity is the train traveling in the southwest direction? It is traveling at 20 kilometers per hour velocity in the southwest direction. Do you understand now the difference between speed and velocity? Next, okay, we are going to try to understand what is activity number 3. Before that, let's do think and discuss. The first one I already told you. Second one, when does the average velocity becomes 0? When the body is not moving, when the body is at rest. Okay, whenever the body is at rest, the displacement is 0 and the average velocity is 0. A man used his car. I wanted to try out this problem. A man used his car. The initial and the final odometer readings are 4849 and 5549 respectively. Please consider the mathematical thousands and all over here. The journey time is 25 hours. Okay, what is his average speed during the journey? Okay, so now what is an odometer? The odometer on your vehicle is going to tell you how much distance you have traveled. Okay, do you understand now? So from 4849, it traveled to 5549. This means how much distance did the, which vehicle is it? How much distance did the car travel? 5549 minus 4849. How much is it, class? 0, 0, cancel it out. 4, 8, 15 minus 8 is how much? 700 kilometers. Do you understand? What is an odometer? Odometer is a device on the vehicle which is going to tell you how much distance did your vehicle travel. Now you start your vehicle and is it going to be 0 all the time? No. It is going to be at a certain number, for example 500. Okay, you travel and you reach a certain part of the city and it shows you 5:30. This means how many kilometers you have traveled? It is 30 kilometers. Yes or no? When you buy a new vehicle, of course, it is going to show you 0 kilometers. But you have a vehicle already at home and you're going to drive your car and reach your friend's house, which is far away in the city over here. When you started the car today, it showed you 500 kilometers in the odometer readings. When you reached your friend's house, it showed you 530 kilometers. So what does this mean? What does the odometer reading signify? It shows you that you have traveled 30 kilometers today, sir. Did you understand? So now the odometer readings given in this question are when the man started, it was 4849, and when the man reached his destination, it was 5549. So how much distance did he travel with the help of his car? Of course, how much distance did he travel? I need to subtract them. How much distance did I get? It is 700 kilometers. In how much time did he travel 700 kilometers? He traveled 700 kilometers in 25 hours. Give me a minute, I'll just clean this. So what were the odometer readings, class? 4849. Okay, that was the first reading. The second reading was 5549, and when I subtract them, I get 700. In how many hours did the man cover 700 kilometers? In 25 hours. So speed is equal to distance by time. It is nothing but 700 divided by 25. 25 ones are 25 twos are 50. What is the carryover over here? 20. So 25 into 8, 8 5s are 40, 8 to the 16, 16 plus 4 is 20 again, so it is 28. That is the answer I get. So it is 28 kilometer per hour. So what is the average speed of the car in this case? And think and discuss the third one. What is the average speed of the car? It is 28 kilometers per hour. Okay, so now the question that they're asking us, can you measure average speed and average velocity? You can. How can you differentiate between speed and average velocity? Average velocity is happening in a certain direction. So there we go. So the Sakshi for today is that you need to read page number 14, 15 and 16 class. We will continue with the rest in the next video. Okay. I'll just tell it out the Sakshi because there is hardly any place that will take up more seconds. Then listen to me. The Sakshi is that classwork 14, 15 and 16 page number were done, and I would like you to read from page number 14, 15 and 16. Okay, very easy. We will carry on with the next portion, which is even more easier in the next video. Thank you for now.